the precipice of something new. And yeah, that's sort of the main point of the stream. I'm turning comments on and everything, so hopefully good to see you. I know we don't usually go live at this time. Usually we'll do evening streams. And so yeah, if you guys like live streams, we're usually live at night, not during the day. Yeah, right now I work a part-time job, so whoops. There's my audio. Yeah, usually I work a part-time job, so we're not often live during the day. But yeah, I'm having just some tech issues, and also I opened my web browser and saw Donald Trump and Fox News all over today. The guy's always all over today, but is today a little bit different? I think it is. There's a massive military buildup by Iran, and Donald Trump has been talking about Iran since his first presidential bid. And so when we looked at Donald Trump's first big manifesto, this book is called Great Again. I'll show you one more time. Great Again by Donald J. Trump. There's a whole chapter in this book that says nothing accurate, but the chapter is all about Iran. It's all about President Trump's either willingness or actually deeply held belief that he doesn't like sort of the Islamic ideas coming out of Iran. And it's something that he's campaigned on big time. He certainly hasn't turned down help. He certainly hasn't turned down. Hey, what's up, Bad-Eyed Crazy? Good to see you. Bad-Eyed comments on a lot of the shorts that I post, so I appreciate you quite a bit. Yeah. And so Donald Trump's been more than willing to posture and position the U.S. military toward Iran. And this looks like, the idea of sending an armada around. They evacuated U.S. military assets from the Middle East. And so there's all these sort of indicators that what the U.S. is setting up to do under Donald Trump's guidance or leadership, whatever it's called, his decision capacity, is to attack Iran, perhaps somewhere between a full-scale military operation and invasion or something more technical. And so it's very scary. Hey, what's going on, Ollie? Good to see you. Yeah, so for right now, I think a lot of Americans like myself are like, and hey, what's up, Irko Shadex. Hello, sir. Can you tell about you? Yeah, so I'm in the US right now. Today, I'm talking about opposing Donald Trump's buildup in Iran, trying to get some awareness, try to talk through. I'm a political science guy or whatever. I majored in political science. And so looking at the theory of why Donald Trump is attacking Iran, and also just emphasizing, I don't believe Americans endorsed a war with Iran. This is an illegal war. It's another illegal campaign by this president. Hey, what's up, Katrine Decker? Good to see you. Hello. Hey, thanks, Ollie. Someone's calling me a weakling, a wimp in chat. I don't think that's true. I think I'm a tough guy. Yeah, and so there's some aspect that Iranian politics are different than the United States. This in no way endorses what's an autocratic regime. So being an autocrat means that you're one person, and one person really can decide a lot of the policies of what the state does. And when you go down and look at the legislature, you look at courts, you say, well, these are really far less powerful than this one person. And so this is different than like an authoritarian regime. And so one of the debates people in the West have had in political science is whether or not leaders like President Putin are authoritarian or autocratic, versus looking at a place like China where, yeah, President Xi is powerful, but he's not forever going to be president of China. Yes, he's probably more influential than usually leaders in the United States. However, President Xi in China will not always be president. So China would be closer to an authoritarian state, many would say. And you look at things that we don't understand or have in the West, things like not having a full internet access. Hey, what's up, Puffy? Good to see you. What's up, Arun? Sir, what do you think about India and PM Modi? Yeah, Modi's. I don't have like a strong opinion about Modi. India is often in conversation, sort of removed from U.S. foreign policy talks, both because India sort of, we see India sandwich the sort of South Asian Sea, the South Asian region against China, and so you have two superpowers right next to each other. India is also a nuclear state. Those types of conversations, when we see periods of conflict, come up more often in the news. And so the very brief war that India had with Pakistan just a few months ago now, that was one of the things people talked about. And so I don't have a particular opinion of Modi. I know the Indians that I know are sort of thinking about, well, there are aspects of socialism. There's also this like Hindi nationalism coming out of India. And I don't know that Modi, compared to a lot of presidents, has that strong or deeply held of an influence over what, 1 billion Indian citizens actually end up doing. Hey, John, good to see you. Iran has been screaming to Americans. This is John's comment. Iran has been screaming to Americans for years and attacking our soldiers and country by terrorist acts. So I feel no pity for them. Yeah. When you look at the sort of sum total of what Iran is and their actions, Iran, the U.S. has both sanctioned Iran as well as we've engaged in sort of forms of hard power, either explicitly or clandestinely. So, when we look at Iran launching drones towards Israel, following a buildup, lots of pressure, strikes, it was a retaliatory strike that was aimed at a U.S. ally. Iran, we see this event, but a lot of ordinary Americans, in my opinion, John, don't see a reason why we invade the country. We don't see a reason why Donald Trump is building up and basically forcing a war. Hey, what's up, Heeb Shlomo? Good to see you. Thank you. I graduated from Nothing University. Hashtag MAGA. Yeah, I think that's a shot at MAGA for not having a ton of education on all or some of this stuff. I graduated from Nothing University. Hey, Heeb, I'm going to give you, if you want to hang out and listen, I'm going to go ahead and put you in a short timeout here. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, chat, for everyone who didn't like seeing those racial slurs. I didn't like that either. We don't need those to be strong or to discuss, to have a conversation or whatever this is real sharp. She didn't need a degree. So for Iran, for the Iran buildup, very few would say that, well, Iran's actions internationally, yeah, they're aimed at the U.S. in some ways. They're aimed at the regional politics too. And given that we did have a pretty expansive, all-encompassing nuclear deal under President Barack Obama, a lot of people don't believe that there's good reason or good cause to sort of totally escalate tensions. It's something that's really dramatic and pretty sad, actually. And if you guys have thoughts on protests or anything in Iran, ICE protests in the US, feel free to share them. I'd love to see them, read them. The Razor 2025 says MAGA. Yeah, I think Donald Trump is able to delegate off ideas. He's able to delegate policies down to folks like you. People all over the United States have been talking about immigration and ICE for a long time now. And a lot of those are very well-informed opinions. There's people that would like to see a smarter form of law enforcement, use databases more regularly, use databases for specific types of sort of cases that law enforcement officers might work, all kinds of really brutal stuff, right? And in the reality of some of this is that, well, even if you're going to be the bad guy, right, you're the one saying that we now have an AI database that's chasing you down. You still have to give those people lawyers. You still have to give those people their day in court. The idea that you can have like robot law enforcement officers basically somehow chasing down Americans, and you could become that target. It could be you, it could be your wife or husband, it could be your mom, your dad, it could be anyone that you know. And this idea that there's a threat of bodily harm or expulsion from the country for basically no reason that we can see is really tough to buy. And so for MAGA, my opinion is that, and if you guys want to debate me on this, is that, yeah, Donald Trump delegates policies, but he doesn't explain what he's doing. This is the same guy that said the Epstein files were Democratic hoax. The guy that's all over the Epstein files and said these are a Democratic hoax, and he's saying like, well, what are you? Are you guys too like engendered to your American heritage? Are you too engendered to whatever that actually means in reality? Are you guys too closely tied to like your belief about that Wikipedia isn't a good website? Are you guys too tied to like the faces, the people, not the information they actually provide you? And so a lot of people think Donald Trump is taking advantage of the situation here. I think Donald John Trump Sr. should discuss Iran in further details with Alina Habba and citizens in the Zagros Mountain. She's the congresswoman? Yeah. Donald Trump should. A lot of people think Donald Trump, you should vote, right? I talked about this in a video just the other day. I didn't post it, but high voting turnout typically turns into more government spending. And so that's something you should have an informed opinion about if you're a voter. Is Donald Trump going to spend my money? What's he going to spend it on? But it's really weird to see high voter turnout and then you guys don't want like a judge that cares about their job. Like you guys don't want, there's no definition of a judge that, is an American judge that just doesn't do their job. You guys don't want your senators to say, well, let me actually ask, right? You guys use force, but let me actually ask if I have to give you full access to our prisons because you're the federal government. You are Big Brother, you're Uncle Sam. We've agreed on this for so long. And so that's one of the things I don't understand. Trump's name is in the E. I don't know what that means. In the ether. Is he in the files more than Bill Gates? Because if he's not, then why is the constant harassment and discrimination targeted towards our commander in chief? So just pertaining to the Epstein files, because he's a public figure and he controls the military, like you say there, yeah, people want more answers if Trump's in the Epstein files. Why? What did his relationship with Jeff Epstein entail? The fact that Trump can say, yeah, he was a friend, he was maybe a close friend, and then I figured out he was a weird guy and I stopped spending time with him. For a lot of people, that's not backed by any research, not backed by data, it's not backed by an investigation, it's not backed by anything. It's just Trump saying this. And so just pertaining to the Epstein files, it's like, well, who is this person that is in the Epstein files? It's what a lot of people might say or think. Pertaining to why he is targeted or discriminated against, I don't see Donald Trump as a victim, right? If you are in charge of the most powerful military in the world, people can say a lot of nasty, rude, mean things to you. This has been true as far as I remember, like just myself in my life. Like George Bush was a huge target. Even people who supported the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, which we could discuss, and I would probably disagree on a lot of points there. But this guy was a target from a lot of people. There were documentary makers who made a career targeting George Bush. Donald Trump doesn't get out of that because he's been your nice guy, right? Because he's been your nice guy for so long. The fact that he's representing your voice just means that now both of you are responsible for scrutiny. Yeah, and so the opinion that Nick is sharing in chat, a lot of people might hold that view that this guy is a predator. He's a predator, and yeah, maybe me as a centrist or I'm a progressive Democrat voter, the thing I might actually think about or look for is that like, well, yeah, I just want to make sure there's the democratic process in place. That's going to be the best information that I have personally. Is there a congressional investigation? Did they get enough subpoenas? Did they talk to him enough times? Is he being treated basically in line with how the Epstein files themselves should be pursued? Or like, oh my gosh, like how is everyone else in these files being treated? But the fact that he is commander in chief also to me means that like, well, yeah, go do that. Go do the right thing, right? We're seeing this guy now conduct an illegal war in Venezuela. He's threatening Cuba, and now he's on the cusp of invading Iran, which is terrifying. This is a very scary moment in US history. The fact that people don't see that this is such a big deal and this is terrifying, this is illegal, both of those things are great grounds to discuss who is our president right now. George Bush is a war criminal. Are you a political savant? I was a political science major, so yeah, I was a poli-sci major back in my day. I like politics. I like every aspect of politics. I like international politics. I like, despite the best efforts of, people to obfuscate or talk down to you, I like politics. I try to not do that as much as possible. As much as possible, I love politics. I really do. George Bush is a war criminal. Yeah, one of the big things George Bush did, and this is huge, guys. This is huge. Some people would say this was a small part of just saying it how it is, but this is huge. George Bush, he hired a bunch of private security contractors in Iraq. So basically, you go to this country, you destabilize it, meaning that now you have unemployed soldiers and people who want to be part of the political process who are disenfranchised. This is the effect of any invasion, just no BS. And George Bush hires private security companies. Some of those companies, like an employee goes out and then shoots citizens and stuff like that of Iraq. This is just one case where when people say George Bush is a war criminal, yeah, you should absolutely look at him hiring these private security forces. What would you do? What would you think about if you're in this situation? You see your own political ambitions being sold to the highest bidder. You're told that, this is always going to be all about energy or oil, power, and control for as long as you want. What you know more about than the average American is that, yeah, this is our territorial border. This is what Iraq is. This is what Afghanistan is. And so if Donald Trump invades Iran, there's this whole new bucket of problem. And when we go back to Iraq today and Afghanistan today, what did the US achieve or accomplish? People in the Middle East are at the same stage of civilization as we are. Get this through your head. This is what you'll learn. Political Science 101 is that there's no such thing as a backwards. Donald Trump used to call these like, poop countries or something. Get this through your head. In 2026, every other country than the United States is at the same exact stage of history and time as we are. You have smartphones, you have universities. So you have educated people, you have power brokers, you have sports teams, you have big restaurants, you have small restaurants, you have big businesses, you have small businesses. And so when you say we're going to overthrow Iran or we're going to invade Iran, what you're actually talking about doing is rebuilding a society just like our own. It's horrific. It's illegal. Americans don't vote to go to war. Americans shouldn't vote to use force. People should oppose MAGA and Donald Trump's plans for Iran. We should have been doing this. We should oppose his threats to Cuba. This is illegal. Hey, what's up, Joe? Good to see you. We got Joe in chat. Joe's one of my buddies. He's an awesome streamer as well. He does a lot of open panels, very cool guy. So if you see Joe around in the audience, you're in a good place. Say what's up. Iran has John says again, Iran has no problem killing their own. Makes what you think they wouldn't do the same to you. Yeah, so Iran views their citizens just like anyone else, right? Leaders in Iran's government maybe disrespect human life, disrespect human freedom. And while they're doing this, it's also always a political liability. If you're just taking an action, you're using force doctrine. It's a political liability to put someone in prison who didn't do anything wrong. It's a liability to take someone's life. You have that stain on you forever. You always have a record of what happened, who did it, and why they did it. And so to say that Iran just has no characteristics or traits of the United States is not accurate. And so I'm not telling you to not oppose autocrats, not oppose authoritarian regimes. The people and the governments, we should have information about what they do and why they do it. But again, saying that we're going to now, for some reason, go park a boat outside your country is absolutely absurd. It scares me. I'm scared. Honestly. Hey, what's up, Faraz? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Remember me? We became friends. Yeah, I remember you. I remember you, dog. I don't remember everything we talked about, but I remember you. Hey, what's up, Panelverse? We got Panelverse here. I saw your short about Panelverse posted a short the other day about some climber named Dave who has, I think he had Parkinson's disease, but he fell. This guy, he was a rock climber and he fell. He was a rock climber despite having this sort of like incurable disease. And hey, thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. I appreciate you too. Joe's awesome, guys. Joe's one of the smartest, wisest people I know. Pick one, Trump or boobs. Let's leave that kind of stuff out of chat, guys. Let's pick that one out of chat. And so from a responsibility standpoint, if I had the chance to oppose bad policy, right? I want to understand what Donald Trump understands. I want to understand the policies that he wants to conduct. I want to understand the long-term impact and have my own opinion about them. And so when you put me if you were to put me in a room with 1,000 other people and then pull me out and I'm the only person in that room and I have a choice, 10 times out of 10, it's like, look, I'd rather read a CNN article. I'd rather read a CNN article and understand what Trump is doing. I'd rather read 10 Breitbart articles and say, okay, let me pull out, extract what he said and what that means in the world. That's my main thing, guys, is for me, because I'm a politics commentator, I'm a sponge. I love reading. I love watching. I love listening. I love the people. I love the places. I love the things. This stuff is huge, right? And the part of it is crazy because when you first start following politics, like I did, you get these small nibbles, these small bits, and you're like, I don't know what this means. But like in the future, you should see today, right now, it's February 5th. You should see that Donald Trump hired a lawyer to go arrest as many people as possible. Now, if you're a political person, you might say, well, he hired a lawyer to circumvent the courts, to set up federal detention centers, federal gulags, or whatever they are, and he got hired to arrest Black and brown people. That to me is, it's like, well, I've seen evidence that this is what's happening in the world. And I've seen the MAGA voters support that idea. I had someone tell me on my stream, I don't know if we should lock up Somalian voters forever. That is so evil. That is so evil. And so the idea that people believe that those that committed no crime, people that deserve their day in court, they deserve a lawyer to tell them what that means, right? You don't wander into a work situation. You don't wander into a coffee shop without understanding what's going to happen, right? Am I going to buy a cup of black coffee? Am I going to get ripped off when I buy my first home, when I buy my first car? What's going to happen? And so to have Donald Trump come in and say, well, I'm going to have a lawyer trick you. I'm going to have a lawyer lie to you on TV. I'm going to have Kristi Noem go lie to you on TV, tout these old plans of a border wall, and we're going to show you how big of a tantrum we can throw. To me, this is absurd. Hey, what's up, Joe? Good to see you. Do you like FNAF? I don't know what that is. Sorry, Caitlin Hoskins. Waniac, CNN. Yeah, I don't know what media you like. So there's a really good website it's very old school, but it's called the Christian Science Observer, and it's actually not like, they might have like a Christian sort of bend on their board of directors, and I'm not trying to mislead you, but it is like one of the websites that political scientists read, right? The Christian Science Observer really deeply shows like this almost apolitical national sort of perspective of the United States. And so you get a headline like, well, how is the Trump administration, Donald Trump himself, how are they viewing impact of ICE operations, and what do American voters think, right? And this is traditionally what nationalism in the United States has been like. It's not about hating people different than you. And it's not about voicing violent demands and saying, well, this guy's going to clean it up. This is how I feel. And so he's going to go make policy. Nationalism has always been, let's take this most objective view that we possibly can. So huge idea. So anyways, it was called Christian Science Monitor. Christian Science Monitor was the website. It is one of the websites I learned about in my degree in political science. It's citable. It is just a website. It's a news publication. But it tends to be very well edited, like accurate information, and the perspective, it's not hidden, but the perspective is supposed to be, well, you tell me, you don't tell me now, but tell me in 12 months, did we get this right? Does this age well? Does this look horrible? Because if Donald Trump, this is what's wrong, is Donald Trump's book did not age well. You see in Iran that appears to, when other state actors might go to war, and I'm not doing Iranian apologetics. They obviously hurt a ton of protesters, killed people. And yeah, their security forces are maybe forever going to be untrained and hurt people, kill civilians. However, this is still this is not your dad's Iran. Iran hasn't not changed in 9 years, 10 years. And so when I look at a decade of geopolitical progress, and Donald Trump is still, he's having his George Bush Sr. moment. He's throwing a hissy fit, and he's going to kill people. He's going to make a massive mistake, and the people of Iran are the main people that are going to pay for it, and Americans are going to pay for it. I am horrified right now. That's why I went live. Hey, what's up, Ag Opa 907? Bring back AutoPen poopy pants. Yeah, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State. I don't think the U.S. has ever been the big friendly giant, the very soft guy, the BFG. There's always been a BFG, but it doesn't mean big friendly giant. But Barack Obama was willing to negotiate. There was always a discussion, and if the U.S. was being really bad, there was really no reason in the international space for more to change or more to happen. That was something that was understandable. You would see almost okay, so you go outside your house and maybe there's a construction crew, and you leave your house and they're reformatting the pavement, and you think, well, I can't drive out that way today. But you go to the back of the house in your carport or something, and you say, well, look, maybe they're asphalting the front, but I can still do this. I can go through the back. This is actually how international relations works. It's a little closer to this. It isn't that you have some big bad actor throwing things around like a 10,000-pound gorilla. Usually you have some clarity on, well, the US is maybe not going to let Iran be economically successful. You're not going to thrive. You're not going to invest more in your state security. And I'm sorry, even if I was the most compassionate, understanding person who was happy to go sit, learn, study in Tehran with leaders of Iran for months, years, decades, and this is actually what my brain is like, is I'd rather do that. That's what I'd prefer to do. But I can tell you that there's someone else in the US government, the US empire, if you want, and that person in the US government is not going to let Iran be economically successful. Donald Trump has escalated this, saying, well, half of one strategy the US has taken is now escalating to military conflict. That's why you should be concerned, because other people see this, if I can explain this correctly, and they're going to be very scared. Wash your beard. Yeah, thank you, Shy Shy. What's up, Shy Town? I got, just for Shy Town, I'm not going to give you the full room tour, but there's Jordan. Blammo. Trump sold his soul to the Antichrist in Israel. Yeah, Donald Trump's been a huge proponent of conspiracy theories. He stepped away from the Charlottesville narrative. So we saw white supremacists go and beat people and kill someone in Charlotte, North Carolina. So someone died. And Donald Trump was very eager to say that, well, there's paid protesters, there's bad people and good people on both sides, basically inviting the Proud Boys and other white nationalist groups to join the Trump campaign. And so, just one of many conspiracy theories, paid protesters, the Epstein files, when you see 1 million people marching in the street, these are paid protesters. When you see this in all 50 states, these are paid protesters from the Democrats. The Epstein files are a Democratic hoax. All this stuff is what Donald Trump has told you. Hillary was caught smashing more cell phones yesterday. Why is that against the law when she's supposed to hand them over, drain the swamp? Yeah, this is if you want to see really bad conspiracy theory, Max, go straight from the Tea Party into the Trump administration. The Tea Party message to you was not think about conservatism, think about American values. I know it's not that fun or exciting. It's not going to happen overnight. But use your big prefrontal cortex, consider it, use your whole brain, and think about American values. The Tea Party told you that we have to build a wall and keep immigrants out. This was the issue they selected. They didn't select you to be the issue. Drain the swamp. It was build the border wall and get all taxes out of our country. It's like, okay, if that's what you want to do, yeah, and put dinosaurs back in textbooks, guys. This is absolutely absurd. So the Tea Party was a ridiculous movement funded by billionaires posing as a grassroots movement. That's actually what it was. When you would go, and the only thing you could do when you look at who funded the Tea Party and who they supported, the only thing that you could actually go do was find people that talked to billionaire donors. You could find people that looked at billionaire funded Facebook pages. You would find, Greg and Don from maybe South Dakota joined the Tea Party and they had their own Facebook page. But then the 15 bigger Facebook pages for the Tea Party were all billionaire funded. So 100 people here and then 10,000 people here. And this is what Cambridge Analytica ultimately realized. I believe they were with Donald Trump, Cambridge Analytica. They hacked Facebook and they stole data because they realized that, well, these billionaires and these small Facebook pages, when you add them up, this is how you might win an election. And so if we can hack Facebook and send them Breitbart articles, send them conspiracy headlines, send them QAnon posts, we can send them as much stuff as possible to lie to them. We're just one small agency that's able to do this. And it shouldn't be a big deal, but when you put it all over social media, is it the case that these people are delusional or lying? Well, about some things they are. The people that believed and said the Epstein files were a Democratic hoax, and now it's either the case that, oh, we just don't know, or yeah, Don's an imperfect person, but he's our person. All these stories about why you support MAGA versus being a Republican versus being an independent versus being a libertarian. I don't understand it. So sorry, I got stuck on that. That was to Max's comment. So you're okay with 26 million undocumented illegals. Don't be brainwashed. Demos ruin your future. Everything expensive, supply and demand. Yeah, I think that it's perfectly fine. It is. I personally, what I'm comfortable with, what I'm actually comfortable with is a compassionate response and understanding immigration in the United States, the core drivers. I'm comfortable because I'm a political streamer and I know more than you, is having a 360 degree view, sharing what I know, encouraging you to go do your own research, and then learning from you in return. So I'm okay with that. That's what I'm okay with in reality. What I'm not okay with is saying, well, we're not just going to build immigration cases. We're not just going to keep track of people in detention centers, but we're going to lose them. We're going to arrest and lose 19-year-old girls in our country as part of our Justice Department. And then not only that, But we're going to lose these court cases. We're going to go around judges. We're going to put people on planes, ship them to countries they've never been to. And we're going to, if we have to harass a couple people on our way through, if we have to harass Muslims, brown people while we do this, we're okay with that too. I'm not okay with that. I'm okay understanding immigration. This is my political desire. And so while you're enforcing ICE immigration, consider what I know and what I think. That's the will of the people. This is the will of the people. This is my personal opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion. And if my opinion, my preference is to be more informed than you, to be a little harder about it, to have more responsibility, consider that too. Consider who you're talking to. Hey, what's up, Justin? Good to see you. I'm an Iranian with a green card. Should I be worried about deportation? Hopefully not. I would say no, right? I would tell you no. I think a lot of people, people who are just aware of American history are just aware of, have some humanity about anyone you just randomly meet. You're saying, well, I define my own criteria for being a friend, my own criteria for being a guy, about this is saying, well, it's very low, right? I can be friendly to the person checking out my groceries. I'll tip my delivery driver, and I will interview or hire anyone if I have the chance to do that. If they're qualified, that's all I care about. And so when I think about citizenship, when I think about people going through the right processes, and I think about the color of someone's skin, there's a lot of things that are either completely irrelevant, they're worth politicizing, and and so that's what I would say is how do ordinary Americans feel and act around people they don't know? MAGA has sort of said, well, we can just put our racism into this political process, but we don't actually have to pretend to be racist ourselves, And so that's fine, right? I don't want to accuse anyone of being a racist because everyone has. Hey, what's up, Mill? Good to see you. I bet there's a good person inside. You're a dishonest duck. I'm not being dishonest. I'm being very honest with you. So I hope that's true. And so I would hope people oppose either just really bad administration or racism in a system. Oppose leaders that want violence to come up. They want violence to come down. I don't care who you are, how you do it. MAGA is threatening national security, in my political opinion. You can say that's extremist, but I don't think it's smart for a nation of 350 million people to piss off the world and do so for no reason. Honesty doesn't mean you're right. Well, I appreciate that too, Casey. You just generalize the whole American First movement as racist. So nativism, right? Iran has a nativist movement too. American First, so it depends what you take that to mean. If I put America first, I'm not just looking at energy, but right. So here's a very logical, objective starting point is, okay, America first maybe means we produce more energy. We invest in clean energy or coal, whatever you think is actually best. It's disgusting to me, but okay. So what happens when the cost of energy goes down? What does the United States actually produce? In World War II, we made $100,000 airplanes. If you go to the Gulf War, we made, the M1 Sherman? We made new Sherman tanks or something. So you build sheet metal. When you have more money, you can make more sheet metal. You don't get new technology. You don't get technology that's not militarized, that bridges sort of the gaps in society. And so my opinion as America First is, let's invest in education. Let's make sure that our investments in education are going out to rural America, right? Maybe you don't trust Duck. Maybe you don't want me. Maybe you don't want me to be the one that's actually going out, having these hard conversations, having the fun conversations, going out and actually doing the work that is ensuring Americans have access to education and they can get a good job with it. And we can go from there. We've been saying this for decades. This is how we do it. And so Omega, my response to you is that I'm not generalizing the America First movement because in my calculus, there is no place for lying about the Epstein files, for spreading conspiracy theories, for treating news commentators like Candace Owens like she's describing reality. There's no reason to endorse, like when Fox News gets into propaganda mode, this is not about anything that actually happens in the world. And so the fact that it's uncomfortable or you feel a certain way about it in no way actually changes how you are going to fit into the system that America First or Make America Great Again actually produces. To me, America First is not just America Last, but it is losing all of the issues that we actually compete on, you know? And so I don't know why you hate America. You know, if I can say this another way, you know, Omega, you hate the United States and you don't even believe in the good stuff. You only believe in the bad stuff. So your version of America First, your version of MAGA, maybe doesn't comport or cohere to what the president is like. But from my view, it's a very hateful, it's a hate-based ideology. It's radicalized, it's extremist. You know, it borders on sort of this idea of being like a turncoat. It's in no way about actually what's good for the United States. And what you're telling me is, in fact, detach all responsibility from this, detach all knowledge from this. Why is that the case? This guy seems reasonable. Hey, what's up, Official Crump Diddy? Good to see you. Polygraph, hey, good to see you. We got Polygraph Lie Detector in chat. That's one of my friends who I see on some political channels, sometimes just kind of laid back panel debate stuff. So yeah, say what's up to Polygraph. If you see them in chat, you're probably someplace okay. Sometimes, you know, we know degen stuff, guys, degen stuff. Watch all the poor get drafted. Hey, what's up, Burr? Yeah, you know, I think that people that have to, if we have to have a military, right? We can't be nonviolent or pacifist. The military should be a good experience for people. It should set them up to be prepared and focus on a career in public service. And it should also prepare them for a career ahead. And so to instead say that for some reason, presidents and a few great men, a few people get to decide why we go to war, to say that somehow this undercuts the description of what like a country is, to me is absurd. To think that we don't have a Department of Defense, to think that we don't have a Department of Defense anymore, and to think that we have a Department of War and that we can't be somehow even relative to things effective, expedient, we can't learn from our mistakes in the same way. These are all reasons why I would think that we should reject the MAGA movement. What's up? I think this is from Steven. I think the world thinks the American left is more egregious thing ever created. That's not true. So I posted in a short recently that there are extremist beliefs on both the left and the right. But the idea that people think the left would be starting global wars, like, and I don't even consider Kamala a leftist. She wanted to subsidize private banks, giving people loans so you could start your own private small business. That's not very leftist. That's pretty capitalist. But yeah, there are, I think, extreme positions on the left. But the fact that the extreme right position includes destroying institutions, destroying and perhaps forever altering, changing for the worse, as well as violence against people you've never met, I've never met them. What's the point of this? You know, you guys want to say, well, this, you know, who is this that I'm talking to? Well, let me just say very softly and gently for a moment here, that if I don't think about this stuff in my normal day-to-day, I would rather watch a movie. I'd rather have a peaceful, calm, stressful day at work. These are all things I'd rather do. And to say that now, okay, so I'm considering leftists and rightists, whoever these people are, you know, well, what are you saying about my own day? And what do other people around the world say about it? Is there actually big bad man who wants to take away my paycheck in another country? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think people are more reasonable. And I think if you were to explain to me what we're actually fighting about, and what the fight is, I would understand that. I might also understand that, like, can't I show you that, you know, that we have a way out of that. We have a way to engage diplomatically. And this buys all of us time to focus on problems that are a higher priority. And so extreme left and extreme right, to me, doesn't want to have the conversation. Okay? And I think there's a lot of well-meaning people. I don't think Zohran Mamdani is an extremist. He is Zohran Mamdani's coalition himself. Mamdani, not everyone, every single person who supports him, but Mamdani's position in New York City is, let's work with people that have been working in New York for 100 years. If your organization has 500 years of experience working in New York, I want you to be a reference. I want you to be someone that we can call for information, knowledge, advice, right? You know, you can, yeah, you're going to help us and lobby for us during the election. Okay, guys, we're not playing fair now. We're playing hardball. But I don't see this as the same form of extremism where people go out and tell lies, or they make it so artful that there's no semblance or representation of the truth anymore. Hey, good to see everyone. Hey, Wides Vlog, Techno. Hi, I'm from Superpower Bangladesh. Hey, what's up, Techno? I work with a bunch of people from Bangladesh. I'm supposed to be working today, but my CRM is broken. So yeah, so much love to Bangladesh. Bangladesh is, if I remember correctly, is both somewhat ethnically as well as religiously heterogeneous. So it's not like they're right next to India. Yeah, and so cool place. It's cool, but damn spell check that. I'm also very scared, like, right? I should be able to say this while I'm at work. Oh, I'm a political scientist. I saw Donald Trump is posturing to invade Iran today or tomorrow. I got scared. I wanted to go talk to people. I wanted to get my opinion out, and I'm honestly scared. I'm scared for my own future. I'm scared for my family's future, and I'm scared for the future of all the people of Iran, because Donald Trump is doing something that doesn't make sense. And it doesn't seem like in this case or in any case, there's time to make sense of it. We should oppose this guy. Mr. Stephen Walker, I don't know what, so I deserve everything because I'm on an emotional rant. You know, that it's just ironic. It's ironic that a person who supports someone who's quoted out of context statistics about horrible crimes happening, you know, you should give an arm and a leg over to the people that you're trying to help. You should be fully committed to the people that you care about. The wrongs that you're trying to commit, you should be sitting right next to them. And instead of that, I think that you're just solving the problem by buying firearms for people in military garb, right? And so to say that I'm on an emotional rant when I can see the evidence of your strategy, I can see the evidence of Donald Trump's strategy not working how he wanted it to. And so, yeah, I think the fact that I can have a discussion and be scared and be objective at the same time, I'm not a robot, right? I'm allowed to have emotions. I'm also allowed to take a second and consider what it is I'm talking about and what else I'm considering. I do that very well, I think, actually. This little boy is as soft as butter. Hey, what's up, Lefty? Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you. Who's committing the wrongs? Yeah, I think that, you know, I think in a lot of the videos I've seen of ICE, as well as reports from lawyers, reports from NGOs and other groups that are working, they're committed, they're working, but they have been working in these systems for a while now. So they know some things, you know, you can get data from them, right? But yeah, you know, I think undertrained, I think what it is undertrained, underprepared ICE agents, and it's a bad mission scope. It's not having protocols. It's not having operational completeness. It doesn't appear like there's some endpoint. Saying we're going to deport all the immigrants doesn't mean anything. We're going to deport all the illegals. We're going to deport all the people that have a criminal record. Saying we're going to do that to all of them doesn't do anything for an operation. It doesn't do anything for a mission, right? And so, you know, Donald Trump did not come out and actually say we're going to reduce dependence and reliance on you know, the courts. We're going to try and speed some of this stuff up for these specific crimes. You know, he said we're going to kick all the people out. And yeah, you mock people dying in Gaza. Isn't that correct, Nate? What are you talking about? No, I think that world leaders should have looked at the parents in Gaza. We should have looked to the parents And not just the parents, but we should have looked to social media creators. We should have looked to experienced leaders in government and said, what the heck is going on now? You know, we should have looked to leaders in Israel and said, is it really true that this many Israelis are willing to sit by and watch a city get leveled? Right? Somewhere between, we're not going to take it if there is a militarized group that's attacking us and they've got their friends in Lebanon and they're making fun of us, they're chiding us, they might attack us too. But somewhere between that and having an actual understanding of the situation, right? This isn't Israel last. This isn't ditching our allegiances to Israel as a Western state. And as home to a group where anti-Semitism has been rampant, like, obviously it's a huge deal, but I don't think I'm soft, and I don't think I don't know why you would suggest I've laughed at people dying in Gaza. Perhaps the opposite, you know? I think it's great when people like Greta take a flotilla to go down to Gaza and deliver food and medicine, right? Food and medicine. And seeing that there is this story that's happening is a big deal. But it's also true that if we don't have political buy-in, if the political process isn't public, if the political process isn't clarified, what can we get out of it? So let 24 million legal still vote for demons, the Democrats, right? These are the Maxwell. These are the same Democrats that faked the Epstein files. Now that Trump's DOJ is releasing the Epstein files with him in them, right? I'm just assuming that's who you meant. Yet again, right? That's sad. It's all right to be scared. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Chewbacca? Good to see you. Yeah, maybe I'm soft. Maybe I am soft. Scary times. I'm scared too. Poor baby. We'll get your bubble wrap ready. Yeah, shipping and handling. Make sure you get that too. Scared men shouldn't speak on war. Your type should stay back and grow vegetables while the real men have to go deal with it. You would 100% run from a draft and blame it on your political beliefs. Yeah, I am a pacifist or nonviolent person. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't at some point serve my country in whatever way I could. And so, yeah, I mean, I think you coming in here and somehow saying, well, because I have a willingness or an ability to fight and this person doesn't, just like millions of other Americans, maybe I don't have the ability to actually go fight. Right? Yeah, I wrestled and I'm a political science major, but actually, whatever, picking up my daddy's titanium S&W, that would have been too much, right? No, the fact that I choose to not own or carry firearms, the fact that I support the 2A in a way that's probably very different than you, that has no bearing on who I am as a person. And it also doesn't say anything about your own political opinions, Ronnie. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about who's actually more informed, whose idea or strategy or vision or just what I vote for, right? Why do I vote? Why do I go on social media? All of this, I might have it better than you. The collapse in Europe collapse. JC is talking about a collapse. Well, I think Donald Trump's heading us closer toward whatever a collapse would be. We should be very aware of how we can oppose this president with what he's doing in Iran right now, Cuba, Venezuela, and Greenland, many other places. The collapse in Europe, America, and other places is a failure of leadership. Yeah. I think having people realize you can be scared of something outside of your immediate purview. You could be intrigued or excited by something outside of your immediate purview. And that doesn't mean you get it right away, right? So maybe you're a tech entrepreneur, right? All of you in chat, you're going to go out and be the most famous person. You're going to build a new product, okay? You're going to build a new product. And so you get 10 people are on your team. You hire them. They're on your team right away. And the next day you have maybe a piece of paper you can sell. You have something small. It's a piece of paper, right? Don't cut yourself. You have a piece of paper, but you don't have $1 billion company right away. And so the US wants more air defense support in Greenland. That's not what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump said, we want Greenland, we want Cuba, we want Venezuela, we want all of these countries to be part of our corporate infrastructure. For what reason, one would ask, right? And so Donald Trump doesn't get to shed the weight of things he's lost. Hey, thanks, Polygraph. I'm skipping down a little bit. Good to see everyone too. I'll try and say hi to some people while we're in chat. Is that a liberal accent? Is that a liberal accent, dare, buddy? Why would I do that? Hey, what's up? David Jordan 4456. Yeah, if you have an opinion or a belief or something you want to share, feel free to do that. And what allies we got now? Trump crapped on all of them. Yeah, I agree, T-Gun. I tend to agree that people should be nervous about what the United States allows right now, without going to extremist lengths and actually working this back. I think that's what Democrats, independents, Republicans are looking at. Donald Trump's approval rating and independent-specific beliefs about Trump's policies has absolutely crashed. Glad you're able to exercise your constitutional right to free speech, no matter how right, wrong, intelligent, or ignorant, kind, hateful, right or wrong, each side of history. Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Why be so scared and we're blessed? Yep, appears that way. America hasn't fought a defensive war in like 2 centuries. Yeah, that's part of the, so if you guys can go see Andrew's comment, you guys don't have to scroll too fast, but yeah, and so I don't know what you guys know about the Federalist Papers, but it was James Madison and Alexander Hamilton writing for hundreds of thousands of Americans were going to read these things, right? That was what they schemed about. But the Federalist, it's a philosophical and governmental, like almost a scientific or political approach to defending a federal system. And one of the things that they do outline is that, well, we're a big island. The continent of the Americas is a big island. And so it's always loud, expensive, and perhaps opposed for someone to go to the US. This isn't meaning that we don't need a standing army and strong defenses. It's perhaps the most important thing that we can do as a country. But you can picture, well, is Spain going to invade us? Well, what is France going to think? Is England going to try again? No, we're probably going to be friends because we know you already because we fought a war with you. Ironically, we're going to be best of buddies, but best of adversaries and allies. But what if France tries to invade us? What do you do then? What do you do? What are the Spanish going to do? And so, yeah, the U.S. hasn't fought a lot of defensive wars. George Washington lost a war in, what was it called? The French Indian War. George Washington, one of our big, kind of hero, first president, founding fathers, all kinds of stuff. Hey, Cody, the left has fallen. Yeah, like a Gerard Butler movie. Yeah, I don't think the left or MAGA has as strong of an identity as anyone says. And as much as I oppose the message and the ideas of Make America Great Again, as much as I think the American First talking points have nothing to do about putting America first, nothing. It's absolutely nothing. But as much as I feel this way about it, and that's what the reality is, I don't think that people have actually had the chance to think about, well, maybe I do want a small government. Maybe I do want a small government doing socialist things, but I don't want is a big government. I don't want a government that has power over other people's lives. I don't want a government that's making arbitrary decisions based on ego. That's not what I want. Hey, just watch the targeting in chat a little bit, guys. You can tag people, have a friendly discussion, but let's try to work on that a little bit for whatever reason, right? It doesn't matter that much. He's using a 40, teens. Yeah, no, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not. I suddenly realized I do. Wag the dog. Obama was the worst. I dislike Michelle Obama more, though. I liked Obama. He was not only friendly, but he was understandable. I do think, I think that there would have been good reasons to vote for John McCain or Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama. There were valid reasons. John Huntsman was another really viable candidate in that election, and he didn't even get the time of day. No one looked at him very closely. And so I am a progressive Democrat. Yeah, I voted for Obama, Kamala, Biden, but I'm not opposed to considering, right? And so just to think, I'm not going to go use my voice and deeply oppose, Republican candidates. But Donald Trump isn't a Republican. Donald Trump has said, I can pick and choose winners in our economy. I can pick and choose private prison systems or build them myself, right? He's saying he can do whatever he wants, and that's the system of government we're going to get. I got to scroll down a little bit. Hey, James, good to see you. Hey, Sajid, what's your take on Nicki Minaj? Yeah, she's going to win the Brit of the Year award at the NAACP Image Awards, Brit of the Year. No, I think, artists, you have free speech and you're allowed to speak. However, Nicki Minaj is she's not a political commentator. She's not educated. She's her music as a cultural critique maybe itself isn't that rich, right? She has a lot of aesthetic appeal. I like Nicki Minaj's music. The stuff she did with Kanye was really good. But for Nicki to come out and spread Christian-based conspiracy theories and to spread hate about people, I think she's basically promoting large acts of violence. She's telling people hey, you're a mouse, but you can be a mouse and squeak about violence on the international stage. That's not fair. That isn't that fair, guys. It's not fair. And just about her weak cultural critiques, but having a good aesthetic, that's always true, right? That's always true. And so when you're trying to sort of understand the totality of how someone like Nicki Minaj or someone, kind of gets in the press, it's well, you're going to say something that's sexier than everyone else. All the U.S. flags and trumps of the Axis powers. Yeah, the UN and all this stuff. Does your husband allow you to talk like that? I was watching Don Lemon the other day. He introduced his audience to his husband. I feel personally, I don't think personally, and as far as it's an informed opinion. So say that in chat, guys. Offer me your informed opinion about Don Lemon and his arrest. My informed opinion is that Don Lemon shouldn't have been arrested. And so I do think it's illegal, and it's also, I think, very sad and a tragedy for him and his family. I think it is very sad for Don Lemon's husband that Don was thrown in jail for what appears to be a political reason because of either he might tell you it's a grudge, but it's actually what appears to be a pursuit that's quite unconstitutional. Trump follows the same playbook as historical demagogues, big catchy slogans that mean nothing in reality, while the real goal is self-enrichment and a power grab. Yeah, so Web Matrix, that's a great point. If you guys want to read that, I'll agree with some and disagree with my first big disagreement, and I don't support Donald Trump, is that I'm not Donald Trump. I don't know what's in Donald Trump's head. However, the ideas he's putting out are very bad. Would I say that it's a power grab? Well, no, because you should definitely consider that, and don't say just because I'm not Donald Trump, I can't hold him accountable. I can't use my voice. I can't use my vote. I can't use my time, my resources to hold this guy accountable. You should do all that, actually. But for Donald Trump, there are geopolitical reasons why you might see a more aggressive United States. I don't think there's geopolitical reasons why it's as severe or as unilateral or what appears to be as uncalculated as what Donald Trump is actually doing. So good comment, great comment. Maybe we agree on some things, maybe we disagree on other things. So Don broke the law but shouldn't face consequences. Trump got arrested. Why not Don Lemon? So yeah, Fubar, I don't know what law Don Lemon broke. So if you look at the Constitution, there's always laws on two sides. This is how the law works, right? So the Bill of Rights, your constitutional rights, and the case law, our entire history of case law defends people, right? So if you get arrested, you're going to see a case file or whatever it is, your lawyer will show you or something. And after you get arrested, this is what's really bad for you, right? This is what you did wrong according to the state. And this is also specifically what it was, how it's written, how it's interpreted that you did that wrong. but your lawyer knows and the Constitution knows you have laws defending you. When it comes to freedom of the press is something really foundational. When it comes to free assembly, this is also very foundational. And so there's lots of laws, so Pam Bondi having to go to 4 courts to arrest Don Lemon. She went to 4 different judges and they all told her, no, we can't do this. And so who knows actually why that is or what the reason is. But when she finally finds a court that's willing to accept the paperwork even in the first place, you still have it's the case that the Constitution is protecting Don Lemon against these allegations. So I think this is it's a very bad sign and signal to MAGA voters that, well, if you don't like a leftist, you're allowed to arrest them and put them in jail. What else is this saying? And that is why those laws exist in the first place. Yeah, Pam Bondi, I don't think is qualified to the left is a bunch of tools. Yeah, that's fine. You can say the left is a bunch of tools, but you don't know. I get called a leftist all the time. I don't consider myself a leftist or a collectivist. I maybe posted a short for Zohran Mamdani, but I'm not New York. I maybe would be like a little concerned if like I would probably have voted for him, but that doesn't make me mean that like I'm supporting Zohran Mamdani now or something, right? I'm not a democratic socialist. And so Cody, I don't trust anything you say personally, right? You're not MAGA or a righty. You're just Cody who doesn't know how to use your language correctly, right? You've said commie, all the left are tools, this stuff that's not really quite right. You haven't said anything smart. I'm not trying to say anything smart. I'm voicing my opinions. And yeah, and so in terms of your language, in terms of not just your language, but in terms of where that language is describing in the world, if there's a world outside of Cody, I'd love to see it, right? That's kind of, I don't have opinions about Cody's world. Yeah, an opinion is usually well-researched. It's not meant as an objective fact. It's not some like philosophical idea. Well, this is stance-independent, subjective phenomenology, which comes from rejecting the cause-evil demon in the first place. You accept the Humean problem of induction, and you have abductive, inductive reasoning forming your political belief. No, I'm not doing that, right? I could do that, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm somewhat educated. I'm not smart. There's really smart people out there, but I'm somewhat educated. And so I know how to use language correctly, and I'm not trying to trick you with it. If I was trying to deceive you, I would probably just tell you that, MAGA is not going to solve anything for you. It doesn't get better. If MAGA hasn't solved anything for you since the Epstein files release, if MAGA hasn't solved anything from you from Epstein's first arrest, if Trump has deceived you and lied to you, then you're not being discerning. You're not in the right state of mind to actually share your belief with me. Share your belief with me, right? You don't know that you're actually MAGA. You're not discerning. MAGA done more than anything you believe in. You're just saying MAGA, MAGA, right? You like the bass. It's like an EDM show. It's like Electric Daisy Carnival in Vegas or something, right? I don't care. You can go make AI songs about MAGA. You can go listen to Nicki Minaj. But talking about what MAGA talks about, I have it right here, Cody. You think I don't know this. You think all leftists are the same. I'm not a leftist. I have Donald Trump's own words here. I have Donald Trump wanted you to look. This is what he wanted. He said, look at my family. Look at my real estate empire. Look at everything I've done for New York City. These aren't just real estate deals. I'm changing the New York landscape. He didn't do any of that. He lied to you. I'm using my phone, you fool. Sorry, if the speech isn't perfect. You get nothing. You get nothing, right? You get nothing. That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. Thank you. Trump and his legal team says the same thing about Trump in courts. He got arrested. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have an opinion on this. What do you guys think about Donald Trump raiding election offices in Georgia, talking about federalizing elections? This appears like it is introducing just objectively from like an operational standpoint, right? You know, I know some of you guys are, maybe a couple of you guys are, I'm not a veteran, but a couple of you guys, thank you for your service, the war fighters, the veterans amongst us. I hope you guys are having a great day. A lot of people still appreciate your service, and but we're talking politics right now too, right? It's a but today. It's not an and. And so objectively, from an operational standpoint, federalizing elections gives you a much greater risk and a disastrous risk at corruption, right? At corruption, you know. And so someone saying I can get away with flubbing 10,000 votes in West Virginia, which might happen for any number of reasons. Anyone might do that. And when you look at how someone actually considers and calculates the risk, in the past, what we've seen is, well, there's some honest mistakes. And then there's these sort of like lunatic, these people that get brainwashed and are willing to, they work at the election center and they commit fraud. Right. And so there's not like a reason then to federalize the election system because of this. It's absurd. And so I think Donald Trump is, this is another chance at making the executive branch stronger. Does he want to actually take control like King Trump? I don't think so. He's a president. He's an elected president, but this is bad policy. It's a bad idea. West Virginia, country mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads to the place I belong. West Virginia, country mama, take me home. Yeah, don't get injured, guys. You know, yeah, don't get injured, right? Drill instructor duck. Again, not a veteran, stolen valor, but drill instructor duck, you guys, don't get injured. You know, you guys are out talking about, if we're talking about something like, well, how do elections work today? We don't have to, you guys don't have to give an arm and a leg. You don't have to drag it out, right? You know, Google it, Wikipedia it. You know, right now there's a state election commissioner most places. There's oversight. I believe there's oversight. I believe Congress can ask for recounts, ask for investigations. If there's evidence of wrongdoing, then it is criminal. So when it's criminal, the DOJ does it. So you don't have to do an arm and a leg. Just know that there's something in place today that has worked for 300 years or so. Okay, guys, I got my CRM was broken. I'm working part-time right now. If anyone wants to, please, you guys can see there's a donation link. I'm actually not getting a paycheck right now, so if anyone wants to donate, that's hugely helpful. I won't grift from you guys, though. Do like and subscribe. I'm not going to grift too much, just the link and what I just said. But yeah, like and subscribe, guys. I got to go see if I can get some work done today because I have to earn a paycheck. And yeah, and you guys, if you're Christian, if you're religious, if you're an atheist, pray for Iran. Keep Iran in your thoughts. Try to think the right things, say the right things, be the right way, be the right things. Because the fact that Donald Trump is threatening a very large country geographically and population-wise, and it's escalating, it's getting scary, guys. We cannot let Donald Trump's decision to attack Iran, decision to engage in diplomacy with Iran, we cannot let this keep us down as Americans. We have to make the best of this. And there's no way that Donald Trump should feel like he won or get something out of this unfounded, violent, murderous aggression that he's sharing with you. He's asking you, he's asking your children, he's asking other people's families to pay for it. I can't stand it. I'm scared. I'm angry. And I know enough to know that I know what I need to know to oppose Donald Trump and Iran, guys. So thank you for chatting. Maybe we get to talk later tonight, later this week. Like and subscribe, guys. I would love to get to know some of you guys, get to know your ideas and beliefs. Share what I can with you guys. I love this stuff. I love it. I love it. I'm scared of war, guys. I'm scared of my own shadow in war.